Absolutely.
very
They
important
are.
to the economy. And so we just have to, and fishing actually is very, it may not be very visible, but there's a lot of commercial fishing still going on. And so I think that as much as we want to embrace the new Fort Pierce, we also want to keep what's valuable of the old Fort Pierce.
Well taken.
And many of our citizens will say that our old Fort Pierce says, don't change it anymore, stop the growth, stop, right, no more people. The newer people to Fort Pierce say, now that I'm here, stop the growth, no more people, right? So,
On your way in.
well, yeah, so we want to keep Fort Pierce its charm, but we also know that people are coming and growth is happening, and we need to have a broader tax base. So my wish would be for us to remember what's really, really valuable about Fort Pierce and keep that, and then adapt to whatever is modern right now. Anybody else?
I'm good.
You're good? You got direction? And thank you for sharing this. It reminded us of all the good things we are doing. Thank you. All righty, we'll move on.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion and approval of the city manager's appointment of the Fort Pierce Police Chief.
Mr. Chess, you want to start us off for this?
Yes, ma'am. Last week, Mayor and Commissioners, I selected 3 finalists for the police chief position. And firstly, certainly, I want to thank all of the attendees who was at the meet and greet. And actually, even those who were not in support of the candidates that I selected, they had taken time out to meet them themselves one-on-one, although it was briefly for an hour or so, half hour in some instances. But at least I felt that they give themselves an opportunity to see the candidates that I selected. And I think that went a long way with me, because I saw different members from the community, even outside of Fort Pierce. So that went a long way for me, because they had opportunity to see perhaps a snippet of what I saw. So I appreciate that. That went a long way with me for those who attended. And subsequent to that, I made a selection, and I believe I notified you last Thursday around 4 p.m. that I selected David M. Smith from Prince William County Police Department. I think he's very talented. He has a fresh approach to community policing, community-focused policing. And what impressed me most was that in the process, he really pointed toward our implementation plan. We had 84 recommendations. That plan we went through several months ago, and it had some salient points in terms of how we can approach it, and his ideas on implementation as well. So I really feel that he's a strong candidate. And when you have interviews, someone talked about earlier that, well, there were 7 candidates, all of them were qualified. But once you have to go through the interview process, it's about presentation, it's about performance, it's about articulation, communication, interpersonal skills, and the ability for that individual candidate to actually be able to cross all the areas of the city. City commission, city manager, certainly the police department and the community. And when I put together a team, I look for the fit. And I feel that all the candidates were, the finalists, as well as the 4 that didn't move forward, were very qualified, but it's the fit as well. And I believe that Mr. Smith fits what the police department needs and looking for right now. And in addition, I feel that he'll get along very well with me. And he understands clearly, he talks about my vision for the department based on the city commission vision. I let him know clearly that I am aligned with the city commission. Whenever the point in time comes, I'm not aligned with the city commission, I need to move on. So I may make decisions that may not be your decision specifically, but I support your vision and your mission. That's why I'm here. I want the chief of police to understand that as well, my selected candidate. So I did select Mr. Smith. I think he's well qualified. I think he'll do a lot for bringing accountability to the department, strategic partnerships with the community, but more importantly, building a strong, cohesive police department that I don't feel is as unified as it should be. I mean, he's not going to be the gift of all, but I believe he'll be able to bring unification and bridge the fragmentation that exists, whether it's from by my expressing factions from the prior chief to where we are today. So I think that's an essential challenge for him as he go into the department. But I believe that as we get to know him individually, I believe that he'll be able to be a good representative for the police department as well as the community, but more importantly, a champion for the city's overall mission. With that being said, that's my candidate.
Okay. Commissioners, anybody like to start?
I will.
Okay.
I have a legal question for Madam Attorney. Madam Attorney, we all of us got a email this morning, and I think it's important that since we're at this discussion, that have been read. It's from the police. It's from the.
During the meeting, we got it during the meeting?
Got it this morning. It's from the union.
I've not seen it yet.
From the police union. So I wanted to know, since it's public record because it came to our emails, is it appropriate to read the email, or is it not? If not, I'll leave it alone and move on. But we did get an email from. Hold on, my phone is acting up.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Hedges.
Commissioners, I don't believe I've seen the email yet that Commissioner Gaines is referring to. But if you do want to read an email into the record, we would just need to provide that email to the city clerk so she can make it kind of an attachment to this meeting.
It came in
Troy Carter, is that right? Is that the one?
I just saw it.
Okay,
Correct.
yes.
Carter came in at 8:05 this morning, and it went to Mayor Hudson, myself, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Broderick, Miss Cox, and Mr. Chess. So it's to all of us, and it says, Mayor and Commissioners, good morning. I originally intended to speak in person at today's meeting, but a last-minute personal situation has made that impossible. Excuse me. Although the union publicly endorsed an internal candidate for chief of police, I want to confirm that the union is in alignment and agreement with the selection of David Smith. Mr. Smith was highly impressive during the meet and greet and reflects the values and cooperative work approach that we will move this department forward. We are committed to supporting this selection by uniting in the community and building strong support. Thank you. Troy Carter, Fort Pierce Police Department, Supervisor, Union Representative. So I think that's important that is read, and I hope whatever personal situation for Mr. Carter, he's resolved and there's nothing major and harmful. But for him to write that email to all of us, I think it's important that it be shared with the public. With that being said, I did not go to the meet and greet because I didn't want to be a distraction. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't want to be a distraction. I wanted the public to have their time with the candidates without the commissioners there. I went and interviewed everybody. I too was going in, I'll just be honest, going into my interviews, Mr. Smith was not my first choice. After the interviews, Mr. Smith was my choice. And I'll tell you, because he talked about the plan from the 84 points. He talked about certain things in our community. One of the things that struck me was that he asked a question which I couldn't answer, and it's no big deal. I couldn't answer. He asked why the stub station on Avenue D was not open or limited.
What?
Not open or limited, open not every day. He rode around the community. He saw certain things. He even asked about do we have any type of code or anything dealing with the dirt bikes driving up and down 25th Street and all the rest of the community that he saw. One of the things he talked about was working with the city manager, working with these, working with the city commission, and making changes at the police department. So, after the interview, and I interviewed everybody else, I thought that he would be the best candidate. One of the other things that I talked to him about was I asked him, did he watch the meeting Monday? He said he did. And I asked him about the concern that the citizens have of internal promotions. And he said, Commissioner, that is something that I will personally take hand and look into, because as a chief, these are his words, and I'm paraphrasing, as a chief, when you leave a department or you leave a force, if you don't have anybody ready to step in, even if the chief takes a leave of absence or somebody, if you don't have anybody to step in and be ready to take over, that's a reflection on your leadership and your time as chief. That struck a nerve to me. So he wants to make sure that everybody that comes inside of the police department has a chance to move up the ranking. So I think he would be a great job for the city of Fort Pierce, and I'm ready to move on and give him the let him become chief, and let's continue to build our city.
Who would like to go next?
Chris?
So first, let me say thank you to staff. I know there's some internal staff that worked along with you, Mr. Chess. I want to thank you for your process that you worked through working with the consultant to go from a very large list of a lot of applicants, whittling that down to about 7, I think. That was kind of shortlisted from, I think it's close to 80 or 50 or some people that 57 that initially applied. So we got to 7. And that was your short list. And then you had interviews with those 7 people with your committee. And from that 7, you got down to 3. So I just want to make sure I publicly state that so that the public understands that there was a whittling down to get to a short list from 50 to 7. And then from that 7 down to 3. The process, as Commissioner Gaines, we all participated in, and I found all 3 candidates to be highly qualified for the opportunity. And so thank you for putting qualified candidates in front of us, right? All of the candidates were, but they really stood out to you, and I would agree and echo that. My decision is in support of you and the candidate, David Smith, right? I found him to, a couple points that I'll reiterate. I won't reiterate that Commissioner Gaines has already eloquently stated, but one of the things that stood out to me is that meet and greet had quite an impression on him. All of them. They had none of those 3 candidates had ever seen anything like that or been a part of that. So that was really good. It provided a little pressure test for them. But more importantly, the community, and I have to say this, made an impact on all of them, especially Mr. Smith. There were certain people that he described in detail as to their concerns. And so I would just encourage you that had that interaction with him to continue that, because he remembers that. It's going to be important that you continue to have that system of dialogue with Mr. Smith. I think the other thing that was there was that he had an opportunity to interact with current officers, union representatives, et cetera. There were observations made. And again, that dialogue is going to be a two-way street, right? It's going to be back and forth and you guys having that conversation. I did not attend personally, but people called me from there. And so they let me know what their impressions were. I had an interaction with the young lady the other day who attended face-to-face, and she shared with me, you know, I support this guy and here's the reason why. And so she laid out to me her observation of this interaction. And she literally just stood next to him and watched him talk to union reps, watched him talk to officers, watched him talk to different parts of our community, and made an impression on her, right? So one of the things that I'm big on is really understanding that there needs to be opportunities, obviously for internal, but we also need to make sure that we're setting up internal for great success. And in this candidate, we have someone coming to our area that has dealt with a very, very diverse community, much more diverse than ours at the moment, and having to deal with some real strategic challenges. And I think we're going to benefit from that because we're a growing community. Much of our urban challenge right now, being an urban city, is that we have outside forces coming into our city and then going back to these other urban areas, but they're actually participating in stuff that's going on in Fort Pierce that we don't like, crime, et cetera, et cetera. And so as we get these boundaries straight and have to develop some of these relationships and really attack this from a creative standpoint, I got that from this candidate and some of the things he shared with me. One of the things that most impressed me, and Mr. Chess, I'm looking forward to getting this from him, and I'm going to hold him account, was he talked about an annual plan from the police department specifically. Not what we do, but police department with police department stuff. Being very transparent to the public about, here are the crime numbers, here's what's happening, here's what I'm doing about it, and having this publication. And he asked me about it, and I didn't know. I know that we've had chiefs, and the chief has sat right there and gone over reports with us and data. I know that has happened. So I'm not saying it didn't, but to put it in an actual formal book, a manual report that you get as the public, that you can go to the website, download, take to your community meetings. I was very impressed with that. I think that that's going to provide the level of transparency people are asking for and seeking. And I think that that will also allow for us to continue to see how we can be of support to the police department and be of support to our community, because ultimately what we're doing is taking taxpayer dollars and invest in this in a mechanism that we want a safe community. We will have a safe community because we're a growing community and we want that to continue. So I'm in support of the candidate. Again, I thought the process, while it was probably different for some, maybe than what we've done before, but ultimately, again, I'm going to say this. I'm supporting the decision of the city manager. The city manager, this is his employee. The chief of police reports to the city manager. I have 3 people that I deal with in the city. That's the city attorney, clerk, and the city manager. Those are my 3 constitutional officers that I hold responsible. And I have conversations with in their respective departments. And so, Mr. Chess, I look forward to your support and our support of this candidate you're bringing forth. But just know, too, that we're listening and we're watching and we're observing and we want to give support. But if there's some other things that do arise that will be dealt with you and I regarding the chief of police. It's not me going down to the police, talking to them directly, unless there are things that I need answers to, questions. And then I think they should come and talk to all of us as opposed to just talking to me. So that's where I'm at.
Commissioner Broderick.
Madam Mayor, a few points. First, to our esteemed members of the media, I am not intending to relitigate the process here, so you're not going to get any great sound bites out of me today. Having said that, I have been critical of the process. That's a discussion that Mr. Chess and I have had and we will continue to have. But regarding this specific candidate, I agree with Mr. Chess's selection. And I thought all the interviewees were tremendous candidates, candidly. And Mr. Smith impressed me, though, on several of the points that my fellow commissioners have brought up. But there was one avenue that I pursued with him that I've not heard mentioned. And the prevailing theory that I presented to him was, well, look, crime, the police department's function is to deal with crime, suppress crime, lower crime rates, et cetera. But I said, the city commission has an overall greater vision for the city with economic development, economic incentives to bring in good paying jobs. I get it, it's a cascading event that creates this. And I painted that picture for him, and he said, how can the police department and how can I as chief partner with you to make that plan succeed. Because as we all know, when the tide comes in, all ships rise. If we are able to prevent or present economic opportunities and good employment opportunities to the citizens of Fort Pierce, I believe that people involved in crime are going to transition to that versus risking going to jail, et cetera. So I believe that there's a tremendous opportunity there to marry together policing activities, and the chief was very enthusiastic about what can I do to support that initiative? Can I be involved in those discussions to give a policing input on that? And I said, that's Mr. Chess's decision ultimately, but from my perspective, the more intelligent input we have to these processes and accomplishing these goals, the better. And he was very enthusiastic about the idea of working with the commission through the city manager's office and, of course, FPRA and what their initiatives are. Everything that was presented here today, he's saying, I want to be part of that. And he was very his enthusiasm was infectious, candidly, and it got me more excited. I'm the one that was presenting it to him, and I got more excited about it. I think I probably blew the walls off between Commissioner Gaines and Johnson here. But suffice it to say, I found him to be a very qualified candidate, and I don't remember I asked the question specifically, why would you want to come to Fort Pierce? I don't remember the exact answer to that, but I found it to be a very consoling, satisfying answer as to why he wanted to bring his family here and be part of a redevelopment of a city that is the redevelopment's well underway, but he wants to be part of that. And the excitement of that, I found to be very compelling in his selection as the new chief. The other thing that I had asked, I did attend the meet and greet. I went down there just to make an introduction, and then I wasn't there long. I did have the opportunity to speak to the union guys there while I was there, and I asked them, I said, look, my interview started at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Call me between 8 and 9, give me your input. And individually, I got calls from the union representatives saying, we support this guy. We went around as a group and talked to all three candidates, but this is our thoughts on this. So their input to this part of the process was important to me as well. Another component that was very, very important to me, as you know, I'm very concerned about development and fostering of our staff currently for lead and command positions moving forward. I've had the chance to talk to Chief Riedel about this. I've talked to a variety of the senior command staff, and there's complete agreement that we want to foster from within, we want to promote from within, we want to increase our knowledge base of our existing department staff so they have the opportunity to step into these positions moving forward. And Mr. Smith's response to that was quite interesting. I don't intend to bring anybody from where I'm at, was his response to me. He says, we are going to work with the team that we have locally. He says, I know from speaking to Jared or Mr. Chess or Chief Riedel that we have an amazing talent base in the department currently. He said, I'm looking to move that forward under my leadership and the leadership of the city manager and the city commission to promote from within, and that resonated with me. And I'm not going to get into those issues from prior, but the prior process exposed that as an issue. The succession planning was not there. So having had said that, I compliment the city manager. Jared, is he still here? Jared, outstanding job. All the participants in this process, I think, have come to the same conclusion as to who the best candidate is, although I haven't heard from the mayor yet. But having had said that, I do support this selection and will work diligently from the commission level to be sure that he's got the support that he needs and the input that he needs from this body moving forward.
Good. So Commander Smith, I found out, is kind of equal to Chief of Police. It's a division. It's the way the government works. It's kind of a county. It's a county area of the county, Prince William County. So he's basically been a chief in his job and done budgeting. One of the things that he shared with me, is that one time in his career he did HR totally for law enforcement.
4 years.
Yes. And I think that says a lot about somebody building a team and knowing how to manage the human component of a job. And he's very, very, very experienced in that, broad experience. All the candidates had broad experience. One of my first questions to Mr. Smith was, I guess you understand, you're aware of the fact that there's a strong pull for the internal candidate, and I'd like to know your thoughts on that. I'd like to know. And he said, I would be surprised if that wasn't there. I would be very surprised. And he said pretty much what you said, that he, from his observation, this is a sound police department, and he is going to build and work with the talent that he has here and the skill and the experience. And he was very, very high on the police department, and I found him to be the only candidate that not only had read the report, but was aware of the fact that the police department had responded and was aware of the responses.
Yes,
So
that was impressive.
he had done some extensive homework on our police department as well as our city. And I thought that I'm surprised you didn't mention this, Commissioner Johnson, but he's data-driven, he told me. He used that phrase, and that reminded me of you. He does a lot of collecting of data, analyzing of data, and focusing resources where that data shows. And and I think that he was very appreciative of the public process here and the involvement of the community. I talked to him a little bit about the involvement of the community in this process, and also the fact that the police department is our largest department. It's our biggest. It takes our biggest resources, and we always want to give it more resources. So that how important it was to us for the police department to be in good shape to make the city in good shape. So I too agree with this choice, and I would like to also say that over the weekend, I had a chance to be involved with the police department on Saturday at the Santa Train and on Sunday at the Sights and Sounds Parade. And I believe that this community needs to understand that this police department is a very highly professional police department. And there are many, many officers who have a lot of training and are really first class. And our police department, and some of the things that have been said in the past few meetings may have led somebody to believe that that is not so. But to observe what has happened with our police department in terms of, and with the interim chief Ryle has done an excellent job, and they've continued to do their job. They are professionals. They have continued their work. And I am profoundly grateful for that professionalism and that sense of excellence through all the turmoil in terms of when we went through the budget, and we went through all the several things that we have been through as a city. Our police department has stayed a professional, well-executed police department, and I, for one, am very appreciative of that. So with that, are we doing a motion, a vote? Are we asking for a vote? Ms. Cox, a vote of approval? Yes. All righty. So would somebody like to make that motion?
I'd be happy to make a motion. I would motion to approve the selection of David Smith as the next chief in accordance with City Manager Chess's recommendation.
There's a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Broderick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gaines?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Hudson?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
can I just want to put a bow on this? for
I wish you
myself?
would. Yes.
I want to thank Ms. Renee Narlock. She was our consultant who performed the recruitment, did a lot of legwork. My deputy city manager, Mr. David O'Shea Johnson, he did an excellent job of help manage the process with our human resources director. And also the former Chief Baldwin, and Captain and Chief Sandifer as well, for being on the panel. And more importantly, interim Chief Rydell, just for keeping things coasting, going in the right direction. And he knows I have a great deal of respect for him and his police team. And also, I want to let you know that he and I, we have a way of communicating. I hope that he can sort of help Mr. Smith or Chief Smith in that process as well, what my management style is. It's important that that you have someone here who's been working with me at least for the past 7 months, and I think we get along quite well. He knows, the buttons to push and buttons not to push. I think that goes a long way. And also, I really want to thank the union representatives who attended the meet and greet. Hope I get your guys' name right, Officer Zamora and Troutman. I mean, they didn't have to be there. They could have gone. They could have been ticked off, not show up at all. And even the acting deputy chief, Khalib Jilla, he came out as well. I mean, that showed his professionalism. Of course, the chief was there. And the union reps stayed there the entire while, from beginning to the very end. And they spoke with all, and I'm not talking 1 or 2, you're talking about 7 or 8. They went from table to table, and I respect them for that. I understand what their needs are. And I will say this, I believe that Mr. Smith is the right choice. And I appreciate everyone who just participated, whether you agree with me or not. I mean, that's your right. That's what local government is all about. I'm supposed to stay here, sit in this seat, and listen to what the concerns